hot and sultry Saturday morning, the tourist in me felt inspired to head into the old part of town and have a look at the City Hall and visit the new cafe. I'd been reading up on the history of the City Hall and the Battle of Manila and was interested in having an up-close and personal experience with the past and, of course, a good coffee. So I jumped on the MRT at Bonnie, changed at Taft onto the LRT at Roosevelt, and before I knew it I was exiting Central Terminal and staring at the City Hall. Oh, what a sight for sore eyes. But first, here's some interesting tourist information. Well, I'm just across the road from the City Hall, but there's a really fascinating history to Manila, but also to Manila City Hall. Before I talk about that, I'll just talk about this general location. As I said before, you can get the LRT to Central Terminal Station and then walk about 50 metres out of the LRT to Kapetolyo Cafe, where you can sit and make your plans. So Manila Town Hall is about another 20 metres walking through gardens from Kapetolyo, and then just across the road where we are, you can see behind me the walls of the Intramuros, which is the old walled city that the Spanish built to keep themselves safe. And it's really worth a visit. Even though during the Battle of Manila it was pretty comprehensively destroyed, there is still so much there. It's really, really worth a visit. Such a bright, glary day that I can't get high shots of the clock tower and things like that because it's just washing the shot out. So I've come back to the little park just next to Kapetolyo Cafe, and Manila City Hall is literally 30, 40 metres behind me. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the history of the place because it's really interesting. In 1939, they rebuilt the City Hall, and they finished in 1941, and it's essentially the basis of the structure that you see. Shortly after they finished, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and then 10 hours after they bombed Pearl Harbor, they attacked the Philippines. In 1945, Filipino and American troops embarked on the Battle of Manila, and it was 1 month of an incredible bombardment of the city of Manila and the Intramuros, and there was absolute devastation to the cultural, architectural heritage of Manila, unfortunately. However, places like Intramuros and Manila is still worth visiting. The City Hall sustained substantial damage from shelling and was rebuilt shortly after the Second World War with some additions, but essentially it's built on the foundations of what it was and in a fairly similar configuration to how it was originally designed. The Kapetolyo Cafe was the brainchild of the current mayor of Manila, who understands that every great international city needs good coffee. The cafe is managed by SGD Coffee, whose coffee beans have won several international awards for excellence. What better way to spend a Saturday morning than to relax in a beautiful park with a flat white in one hand and a Canon M50 in the other. This is the flat white. Flat white was actually invented in Melbourne, where I come from, and then apparently took off in New York, and now it's become a thing. But all it means is it's a latte that just doesn't have the slight frothiness of the latte. It's just the milk is flat. That's all it means. This is their flat white. It's made with Robusta coffee beans, and so it's really quite bitter. I would suggest if you don't take sugar in your coffee like me, then I wouldn't get a Robusta coffee because it's a little bit too bitter. But if you had sugar, you could offset that bitterness, and otherwise it all seems to be sort of in its constituent parts properly.
Oh, and believe it or not, there's even a piece of the Berlin Wall on show near the cafe.